Hello again, this is your friendly neighborhood host, JT Wheatley, back with another episode of the Classics, this time focusing on the 1998-99 miniseries 300 by Frank Miller. This was a now classic miniseries doing a very fictionalized account of the Battle of Thermopylae, which took place during the Persian Wars between the Greek nations and the Persian Empire, in which the 300 Spartans held a narrow pass at Thermopylae against the invading Persian army and lasted for several days before finally being annihilated. While Miller, of course, exaggerates the history, he's telling more of a folk tale of the story than the actual story. You can go back and look at the history. It wasn't just 300 Spartans. It was many thousands of different Greeks as well also there. But they did ultimately die in the end. It is a great story with great action and beautiful art by Frank Miller. And it does get to, as they say, the heart of the story, if not necessarily the full truth of it. And yeah, just a great read from beginning to end. And arguably, this is Frank Miller's last great work. Beautiful coloring, possibly his now ex-wife Lynn Varney. And just a great series in general, and he doesn't shy away from a lot of the violence and the more touchy subjects. Though he does kind of polish up the Spartans a little bit. But overall, this 6-issue miniseries is a must-read, a true classic, and you can get it in a great, almost like a long-form coffee table volume. That's a must-read from beginning to end. And of course, this led to the also classic comic book adaptation of 2006 by director Zack Snyder of 300 that had Gerard Butler playing King Leonidas, the leader of the 300 Spartans, and also Lena Headey, who we now famously know as Cersei from Game of Thrones, playing his wife Goro. And they actually expanded on her character as because the film only ended up being 140 minutes, but just doing a straight adaptation of the comic with the brilliant green screen, by the way. They had to go back and actually add a little character and flesh out her role as playing the politics in Sparta to try to rally the Spartan army to help him. And so forth. So yeah, 300, both the comic book and the movie, definitely worth checking out. Yes, of course, the movie was directed by Zack Snyder, and this was his big breakout that, for better or for worse, led him to getting The Watchmen and Batman v Superman and Justice League. And apparently we're going to get his final Snyder cut of that in HBO Max in a few weeks, so that'll be interesting to check out. But that being said, going back to seeing that 300 movie, that is a classic movie, and the comic book by Frank Miller is a classic book. So yes, if you're looking for more reading material and viewing material during this self-quarantine season, check out both 300, the 1998 miniseries by Frank Miller, and the 2006 comic book adaptation of 300 as well. Both of those are now true classics. And now it is May 21st, 2020. Time for It's Finally Back, the favorite comic book of the week. As you know, May 20th became the new date for when new comic books were coming back, and thus I finally got a chance to get my pull list, and my favorite reader this week is The Goon, number 10, by Roger Langridge and Mike Norton, which finds the Goon stuck in the middle of a brewery war between fishmen and witches. Yes, I said that correctly, but if you are familiar with The Goon, you know exactly what's going on. It's kind of a twisted fairy tale world where this tough guy, mobster Dune, called The Goon, is kind of deal with everything from zombies to witches and fishmen and so forth. And in this one, it's it's like a mob war, but yeah, on one side you have fishmen straight out of the H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu cult, and you have witches straight out of Salem. And it's just hilarious because even though you have this crazy mystical thing, it also has strange with like a 1920s vibe because on top of everything else, fishmen are apparently racist and sexist, which is just crazy in itself. And of course, Norton, who provides the artwork, has this brilliant opening scene of the fishmen having a meeting. They're dressed out in full suits and Shriner hats. And that image alone is worth the price of this comic. Just a hilarious read from beginning to end. And even though it's kind of weird not seeing Eric Powell do the writing and art for his original creation, or Roger Langridge with the writing and Mike Norton with the art do a great job overall. Just a great fun read and everything you expect in a Goon comic book. And with that, once again, it's great to see new comic books back. I hope everyone made a point to go back to their comic book store for New Comic Book Day yesterday and make it a regular trip again. Like I said, support your local comic books store and businesses in general. And do what they can. Like I said, a lot of comic stores, they can do curbside, they can do mail orders and so forth like that. So yeah, it's new comics. You can't just wait. Good to keep the routines up and read new comic books every week. And I hope everyone enjoys it. And so that's my favorite read of the week. So please, if you can, go out and support your local comic book store. And go out and enjoy yourself a new comic book, but also, as mentioned before, go out and enjoy 300, because that, both the book and the movie, are true classics.